Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, aka QNT. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to hit that like button. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course I always do greatly appreciate it. But with that being said, let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So today we are going to be talking about a lot of things happening right now around the digital asset space. Obviously, I will put a spotlight on some price action with QNT and really kind of look at the chart and really kind of tell you guys the long-term path that Quant is essentially on. I've addressed it multiple times on where my positioning is with QNT. I honestly do think that this is our modern age Bitcoin, if you will. I've talked about exactly why. If you guys do want to know about that, I do have a ton of videos on Quant, really kind of explaining the technology behind it and also the vision behind it as well. But let's actually look at a few things happening right now within the Quant ecosystem, but also let's talk about how you could really see if an asset is really going to be successful. So first, let's take a look at the holders tab. So we just surpassed 50,000 holders. It was a pretty monumental milestone to hit, and this actually just recently happened roughly on the 18th. So 5 days ago, and since then we have added some numbers. I mean, almost over 400 numbers since then. In terms of these total addresses, these will most likely continue to accumulate greatly. I mean, if you go back 3 months ago, right, on the 3-month spectrum, going back as far as like February 24th, we were at 44,166. This is continuing to ramp up. I foresee this actually, skyrocketing very, very soon once people really realize what interoperability actually is, because I think that a lot of people right now in this market, similar to other assets in this space, just don't actually understand the technology behind it. I mean, it's very hard to, describe something like Quant to the retail individual and have them understand it, but the best way that I could say is, like, imagine you have a bridge between the legacy systems to the new age digital systems. That's essentially what Quant is. It's bridging that gap. That is a very hard bridge to actually gap, because guess what? You have these other assets within the space that are trying to solve interoperability, but they've only really solved interoperability between blockchain technologies. So really solving that, major stepping stone in terms of, connecting the legacy systems to the digital systems, it's a fairly, hard thing to do, but Quant has solved it. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about a few things, but first I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this quote, or this tweet that I seen from Dread Bongo, to quote him, it says, the reason I love QNT is because the team ignores all the noise, continues with their vision, and doesn't stop building. They never waver or jump on the latest trends. They know what they are building and the problems they need to solve, and they are simply executing that. Now, obviously, yes, I've talked to you guys a little bit about a few things happening with some projects in the space, and I always hated the idea of, like, assets jumping on to the next trend. We've seen this a lot within Web 3.0. For an example, I was invested in projects early on in like 2020 and 2021 that were jumping from, DeFi to NFTs, from NFTs to this to that. Honestly, QNT, or Quant I should say, has been focused on one thing, and that is bridging the old systems to the new systems. It's the simplest way that I could put it. And along the way, they have solved some pretty interesting, problems. They've been in the, for example, stablecoin market. They're talking more so about commercial stablecoins and things like that, which again is aligning perfectly with their vision. So they haven't really jumped ship on anything. They've been, sticking out with their original mission and vision, and they've been continuing to build towards that. So I definitely have to give it up to Quant. That is also why I do foresee the trust being built behind this project, and I also trust the team with what they have been doing lately. So with that in mind, we also do see here, 5 to 10K per Quant by 2025, where QNT has failed as at its mission. That's how I see it. No way we don't see top 10 by the end of 2025. All the utility sets, set to start in 2023, along with the speculative buyers. Staking no doubt will be live then. Absolutely zero chance I'm missing the boat. Now, a lot of people were saying, do you think that we could hit these, prices? Is that realistic? Is it really going to happen? When we look at QNT's chart, and I've charted this multiple times. I mean, we're on the log scale right now, but you guys can see the targets here. If we outreach to some of these high figures, I mean, obviously, yes, up here kind of gets a little bit, to the point where, like, all right, yeah, that's unrealistic. But for the most part, these other fib outreaches that we have currently on this, chart are pretty realistic. I would say that we could outreach to roughly between the 2 to 2414 level, which is like almost $4,000 to $9,500. That's a level that I could definitely foresee happening with Quant. I've always expressed my viewpoints on QNT. I mean, we look at other DLTs, right? For example, you look at XRP, you look at HBAR, you look at XLM, you look at all of these other assets, and you see a lot of the markets that they are disrupting in the $1 trillion plus factors, right? But how are they actually going to disrupt those markets if they don't have that interoperability layer between them and the legacy system? They just won't. These DLTs, there's not only going to be one winner. There's not going to be one size fits all. Most of these DLTs will be adopted in. And with a multi-DLT system, right, you need interoperability between all of them. And there's only one major asset solving that, and that is Quant. That's why I believe in Quant's vision, and I foresee where they are right now, in that vision. They are basically building out this entire, ecosystem, this network of networks, if you will, and it's coming true right now. You could see the vision being built. Now, also, we've seen this partnership going back as far as December of 2019. This is with SIAM Chain. I talked to you guys a little bit about this in the past, but I really want to bring it back up because it really kind of proves where, Quant is positioning themselves. So we do see down here, government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, and startups are increasingly looking to blockchain as the basis for transparent, verifiable systems for establishing and enforcing contracts, transferring assets, and sharing data. However, while smart contracts based on the blockchain are increasingly attractive as a way of achieving this, the complexities of smart contract code together with the fact that many solutions require multiple blockchains means that deployment can be slow, difficult, and expensive. In the introduction in 2017 of SIAM Chain Smart Contract as a Service removed the first of these issues, allowing users to define assets and perimeters. The SCS, the SCAS system, if you will, auto generates the smart contract and API keys that interfaces to the blockchain. This not only reduces deployment time and cost, but enables rapid prototyping and deployment of blockchain dApps for iOS, Android, and the web in minutes rather than months. So again, very similar structure here, but we do see down here the use of multiple blockchains, however, remained an obstacle for mass adoption. The issue was addressed by Quant Network, which is known for developing the first and so far only blockchain operating system, Quant Overledger, to allow interoperability of blockchains without adding complexity or another layer. As a result, Overledger allows the connection of any legacy network and every current and future blockchain with no extra overhead. This is the quote that you need to analyze, study, and understand in full. I know that this is just, text on a screen, but understanding this exact quote, looking into the vision behind Quant, and understanding where we are right now in terms of digitization of the legacy networks, you could truly see why Quant is going to have a massive amount of value scaled over its network. This is insane. Now, in terms of Simba, right? Simba is a company that you should definitely keep an eye out on because this is actually a pretty significant, company. First off, we do see down here, SIAM Chain was, formed in 2017 as a solution to provide secure messaging in the blockchain for the DoD. From there, applications have been created for the supply chain for Boeing, food tracking, and verification for TOKs, certification and asset management for state DMVs, NFT marketplaces for sports franchises and clubs, among many others. Now, their connections here, right, are massive. So you guys can see who's behind this and all that stuff. But look at their partners. This is where things get very, very interesting. So, again, you can understand exactly why I am, looking at this partnership yet again. Because when we look at the partnership here and the ecosystem that Simba actually has, it is pretty significant. Microsoft. All right, you see Microsoft, you see Boeing, you see the Marines, you see the U.S. Navy, U.S. Army, Zuckerberg as well. I mean, look at the names here. These are massive names. Consensus is even on here. It's a massive ecosystem that is being interconnected here. And I've always said, right, we always kind of focus on the interconnectivity between the legacy and the digital systems, but think about the Internet of Things. Think about the Internet of Value. All of that will need to be interconnected. So having these other, companies on here, it makes 100% sense. We even see health space over here and things like that, right? You could go to these websites. You can see who exactly is being interconnected here with Simba. And you can really understand exactly what's happening. The Internet of Things will not happen without interoperability between everything. We're talking about interoperability that will be able to transact data from digital systems to the current systems that we run on right now. Everything will be interconnected. Everything will be interoperable. It's not just going to be legacy systems and DLT. This opens the doors for everything. It opens the doors for NFTs. It opens the doors for DeFi. It opens the doors for anything and everything that you could possibly think of. This is why I've always said, pay attention to what Quant is building. We see over here, QNT is a gateway not just to DLTs, but also to the DLT consortium's cross-ecosystem. With Overledger Network, QNT makes this growing intertwining of 100 of ecosystems simple again. Maturity of DLT market means Overledger comes increasingly important. And yes, I do completely agree. We look at things happening, right? Look at what Bank M has to do. Ignore the red circle. We just hear it's not just about DLT to DLT, but also across multiple ecosystems. And look at this. Consider a bank participant involved in multiple consortiums. Multinational Bank M is part of We.Trade, Marco Polo, and JPM's Interbank Information Network, IIN. These are implemented on different DLTs, HLF, R3's Corda, and JPM Quorum, respectively. Bank M will require multiple nodes supporting infrastructure and operational capabilities. Over time, Bank M should avoid a proliferation of nodes to build, maintain, and interoperate between. Overledger architecture. Overledger provides a network gateway compatible with enterprise DLT networks, avoiding complex node interactions as shown here. Version and multiple instance incompatibilities require a standardized gateway and API. This is what I've been talking to you guys about. Everything will be interconnected. It's not just about DLT to DLT. It's about everything within those infrastructures and ecosystems that will be interconnected throughout this entire process. This is huge. I've always tried to explain to you guys. It's not just about DLT to DLT. It's about everything. Trade finance, supply chain, global trade payments, everything will be interconnected at the end of the day. This is why I've always said, Quant is essentially the railroads that are being built between everything. This is huge. This is why I foresee Quant hitting some high digit figures. This is why I've always said that Quant is a $10,000 plus asset. This is also why I've said that I've been accumulating Quant for a very long time. I firstly jumped into Quant. It was around the 2021 timeframe. I told you guys exactly when I was jumping in. It was right around this point at around roughly $31. It might have not have been $31 exact, but it was around that, area. I jumped in. Ever since I jumped in, I've been diving in, massively accumulating this because I look at this as generational wealth. I look at Quant as the token that will essentially pull a Bitcoin. This is, at the end of the day, a utility Bitcoin. Think about it like this. Bitcoin was the first crypto that opened the doors for the rest of the entire market, and we're still in that speculative basis where, a lot of people will speculate on what is and what is happening around crypto. But when we get into a utility-driven market, this entire market gets reshapen. It gets a full-on entire new remodel to it. That remodel will essentially spotlight utility. Not just any utility, though. The top 10 list will look extremely different. The top 10 list in terms of crypto will provide you guys an insight on what really matters to this ecosystem. Crypto, for what it is extremely misunderstood. I think that there's only a select amount of individuals out there really understanding what crypto is all about. And I'm not saying that I am one of those people. Trust me, I think I still have a ton to learn about crypto. But I will say this. I see the vision behind Quant. This is also why I do believe that Quant will be bigger than Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think when we look at Bitcoin right now, I think that Bitcoin is extremely overvalued for what it is. Of course, do I still support what Bitcoin is doing, and do I support the future for Bitcoin? 100%. I just foresee a day where Quant is actually worth more than one Bitcoin. And I do foresee the day where Quant is actually much, much bigger and more valuable than Bitcoin because of what it is focused on. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.